Take responsibility for suggesting Maseches Sanhedrin. It's among my favorites. So all complaints, if you have difficulty with it, you can call me, but I think the Olam will enjoy it. And as much as I love coming to Bistro, I would just like somebody from the Chabur to remember that when you finish Sanhedrin, it's a steak dinner. No breakfast, steak dinner. You got that? I like it well done.
They have soy steaks here.
If the drushes are long, it'll be well done.
Yeah. I would like to share with you a quick Dvar Torah, a quick mushal, and a quick story. The Dvar Torah is an idea that our Rabbi Weinberg, said that is very appropriate for this particular shiur. Rabbi Weinberg made a very interesting observation. We know that the whole Shas was really, Mishnah and Gemara was all Baal Peh, was all word of mouth from Rebbe to Talmud. Until Rabbeinu HaKadosh came and said the Torah is going to be forgotten, and therefore the Mishnah and the Gemara were written down. So Rabbi Weinberg pointed out that in spite of the fact that we now have Mishnah, Gemara, Rishonim, Achronim, Art Scroll, the works, everything that we have written down, the nature of Torah Sheba'al Peh doesn't change. And if a person would be a bright person and take an Art Scroll and learn through Shas, and learn through Chumash, and learn through Mishnah, and wouldn't have a Rebbe, he would not have the same level of understanding, because the essence of Torah Sheba'al Peh, the unwritten Torah which is now written down, doesn't change. And therefore, by coming to this shiur and having a Rebbe like Reb Shlomo means that your understanding of Torah is totally different than it would be, no matter how bright you would be, learning it without it. So, as Eli mentioned in the beginning, and I believe the whole shiur understands it and appreciates it deeply, is what you're getting from Reb Shlomo, the whole personality, his Masorah from his Rabbeim, not just his humor, his essence, and the way he gives it over is part and parcel what makes this such a special occasion. Not just the learning, but the fact that it's a Masorah from a Rebbe to Talmidim. Shlomo sometimes comes to complain about the shiur. What's his complaint? He comes, sometimes we learn together on Wednesday nights at 10:30, and sometimes he'll come and say, oh, we had a Agada Gemara, a story, and the guys couldn't take it. It was just too hard to understand. So I'd like to tell you over, and I understand sometimes the Gemaras are very, puzzling. I just want to tell you over a quick mushal that the Nodi Behuda writes to explain how we deal with the Agadic Gemaras that have stories that are very hard for us to understand. He gives the following mushal. A group of people were on a boat and they were shipwrecked. And they came to an island and there was not a printed word on the island and no svarim existed there. And they had to survive, by, building huts and doing everything themselves, etc. And they didn't have time to teach the children. And one kid was born on the island. And when he was 8, 9 years old, somebody said, you better teach him Aleph Beis. If we ever got found and come to the real world, he won't know how to read, he won't know anything. So they take him to the sand, they put an Aleph in the sand, they say, this is an Aleph. And since he's 9 years old, he turns to the person and says, what do you need to know this letter for? And etc., Aleph Beis, etc. So they tell him, listen, we're on an island, and we don't know what's going on in the real world. But when you come back to the real world, if you don't know the Aleph Beis, you won't be able to read or understand signs, letters, or anything. You've got to know Aleph Beis. The hidden parts of Torah that are in the Agadic Gemaras are the Aleph base for us. And even with Shlomo, who's a great Rebbe, he can tell you over sometimes the meaning of the Gemaras, but you won't fully grasp it. But the fact that for thousands of years the greatest Jewish minds have been working on this means that even when we don't get it, in the next world we'll get it because we know the Aleph base of what the story says, even if we can't fully comprehend it. So, the next Agadic Gemara, and there's plenty of difficult Agadic Gemaras in Sanhedrin, take it easy on Shlomo. because he takes it to heart. I'd like to close with a very moving story that I heard. One of our children has a yeshiva in Detroit, and there was a doctor there who learned with one of the Rabbis in the yeshiva who became religious 10 years ago, and he finished Maseches Shabbos. This doctor, a super refined individual who had never learned, told over the following feeling that he had about learning that I want to share with you that I thought was very moving to me. And he said, imagine a person who was born without a sense of smell. He just never had a sense of smell. And he grew up and he was 30-some years old, and 35 years in his life he never smelled a thing. And the first time he ever smelled something was his sense of smell just came to him all of a sudden right next to a bakery. And there were pastries and danishes and all types of delicious foods that were being baked in the bakery, and he was just stunned. He says it was just amazing. He couldn't get over how beautiful it was, the smell that he has in this bakery, because he hadn't had smell in his life. So this doctor said that's how he felt till he started learning Gemara. He didn't know how beautiful the Torah could be. So we have to, when we have the opportunity to learn, to every day, and to all you wives that encourage your husbands to go, this is the most important thing they're doing all day, and that you're doing by encouraging it. Because it's giving a sense of smell to the beauty that Torah is, to the Torah Shabbat Peh, that's so beautifully given over by Shlomo. I look forward. I think, in fact, we should try to make a special thing that since Sanhedrin is so long, we should at least maybe halfway through the Masech to make a semi-Siyum, so that we don't have to wait 10 or 15 years till we have the next Siyum together. And once you do a sizable amount, you can get together. Still fleishiks.
Medium rare.
Right, right. And we should get together and Simchas Mitzvah Shem Mazel Tov.